Welcome to another episode of Secondary Podcast where we discuss all things health and wellness. I'm your host, Ife, and today we're going to be discussing the role of nutrition in heart health and how it prevents cardiovascular diseases. Now, cardiovascular disease is a leading cause of death globally, but do you know that you putting into account what you eat and even your lifestyle goes a long way in either reduce your chances of developing this disease or even removing you from such conditions. Now, when it comes to your nutrition, today's topic we are going to discuss the kind of food you should be eating to promote a healthy heart, the food you should abstain from, the kind of lifestyle you should engage in so that you ensure that your heart functions properly. So stay tuned to today's episode. Now, before we get started, let us discuss what cardiovascular disease actually means. Cardiovascular diseases, or for short CVD, basically talks about the group of diseases that we have that relates to your heart and your blood vessels. So this can range from coronary artery disease, heart attack, strokes, or hypertension. Most of the time, the primary cause of this kind of condition is what we know as atherosclerosis, which is the hardening of your arteries because of plaque buildup. Now, when this happens, there is a restriction of flow, and of course, this can lead to high blood pressure. There are other conditions that can lead to CVD, such as your genetics, your lifestyle habits like smoking, taking excessive alcohol, or even a sedentary lifestyle, which means that you don't exercise, So we now want to let you know that by the time you put into account the kind of food you eat, proper nutrition, this goes a long way in reducing your chances of developing CVD. If you're someone that tends to have very bad diet choices, like you eat fast food a lot, you take highly refined food, your food is high in trans fats or saturated fats, this leads to high cholesterol levels, you can become obese, or you can even develop inflammation in your body. And this goes a long way in affecting your heart and leading to CVD. So the good news today is that by the time we dwell into the role nutrition plays, it can reverse this condition, or it will even lead to you taking necessary steps to even avoid developing such a condition in the first place. So the first one we're going to discuss is the role fat plays in your diet. Now, we are all aware of what fat is. It's basically the food class that we use to cook our meals. Fat come as your animal source of fat or your plant-based fat. Now, we know that animal fat is where we get from our poultry, our chicken, our meats, or even pork, if you are someone that digests it. So this kind of fats, it's not like they are bad for you, but it has been shown that if you take such animal fats in high consumption, it can lead to high levels of cholesterol, especially the bad cholesterol, and that can affect your heart, leading to cardiovascular diseases. So it's always advisable to go for what we call the good fats, and the good fats are mostly found in your plants such as your olives, your coconut, or even your almond and your avocado. And omega-3, which is actually a polyunsaturated fat, has been shown to reduce your chances of developing cholesterol, and it also has anti-inflammatory properties, which helps to prevent blood clots from forming in your vessels. Another one we're going to discuss is the role of fiber and whole grains and how they also impact your heart health. Because of the kind of country we live in, a lot of Nigerians, part of our diet is starchy foods like your rice, your yam, even in some cases now, your noodles, your pasta. So it has been discovered that these classes of food are made from refined flour. And this refined flour, such as your white flour, have been stripped of the fiber, which is the beneficial ingredient that helps to digest your food properly and also mop up excessive cholesterol that is found in the food you eat. So it's advisable that instead of going for refined flour, which is found in your pasta, your bread, it's better you go for things like your ofada rice. Ofada rice still has the fiber in it, or you go for oats. If you're someone that likes to take your breakfast with cereal every morning, instead of going for cornflakes or whatever types of cereal that you like to take, go for oats. Oats is rich in fiber. Then there are other grains that you can actually include in your diet. If you're someone that loves to take your semolina, you love that as a swallow, why don't you go for things like your acha, or better still, you can even do your plantain flour. These are high in fiber, and they are very, very good even for your gut health. So next time, you can start to substitute your white bread for your wheat bread, or even if you want to take your spaghetti, go for whole wheat based spaghetti instead of going for the ones that are made from only semolina. Then we're going to now discuss another aspect of your nutrition which goes a long way in promoting your good health, and that is the role of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory food. Now, when we talk about antioxidants, these are basically chemical agents that mop up free radicals that are formed in the body. Now, free radicals can come from even your own chemical reaction in the body, or even from the food you eat or the atmosphere. Taking things that are rich in antioxidants, such as your fruits that contain lycopene, beta carotene, which are found in fruits like carrots, tomatoes. This goes a long way in mopping up any sort of inflammatory conditions of the heart that might be caused by the kind of diet you eat. Now, we all know that inflammation in the heart is something that causes atherosclerosis. So taking foods that are rich in antioxidants will prevent chronic inflammations from forming, thereby leading to reduced risk of heart disease. Incorporating different kinds of colorful fruits into your diet goes a long way to also protecting your heart. It's already been known through research that ingesting a high sodium diet would always increase your chances of developing hypertension. And even if you are someone that is already hypertensive, taking sodium content in excess can damage your vessels. So it's something that you should reduce. And you might be wondering that, okay, I should reduce sodium. Where are these sodium contents normally found? It is found in things like your refined foods, your processed foods. Like when you go to your eateries, you can't really say how much salt has been added to the food, or even the canned foods like your sardines, your baked beans, or even your sweet corn. Most of the time, they have excess sodium in them. Even when we're even talking about sodium too, we have to put into consideration the kind of seasoning that you use. If you're someone that likes to use the various seasonings we have in our market, and you also include salt into your diet, it's basically that means that you're having an excess salt intake in your diet. So it's either better that you go for your natural spices and then just use minimal salt in your diet. Now we want to talk about the practical steps that you can take to ensure you have a healthy heart. So the first thing we will discuss is the inclusion of fruits and vegetables in your diet. It has been shown that when you have your vegetables in your diet, your vegetables are very rich in fiber, and fiber goes a long way in, like we discussed earlier, reducing the amount of cholesterol that is absorbed into your system. So aim for having vegetables with every meal. Even if you can't have it with every meal, at least once a day. So let's say you're going to have your rice, which I would prefer you take your ofada rice or brown rice, add a vegetable soup to it. Then when we're going to talk about your carbohydrates, go for whole grains. And when we mean whole grains, we mean that the kind of grains that still have the fiber involved in it. That goes a long way in helping you digest your food better. Then the third thing we want to discuss is the incorporation of fat in your diet. A lot of times we use vegetable oil, and vegetable oil has been shown to be saturated fat, which is not good for your heart because it leads to inflammation. So instead of using vegetable oil, why don't you go for things like your coconut oil or your avocado oil or even olive oil? Then, not just using this oil, also minimize the way you use the oil. Instead of saying that you want to fry, why don't you do more of grilling? Because when you fry your food, it also still increases your chances of having cardiovascular diseases. Then you're going to have to watch your salt intake. Whenever you want to eat your meals, it's best that whatever salt you're going to add, you should have added it when you're preparing the meal. Don't add additional salt onto your food, and try as much as possible to eat at home. If you're going to go out to eat, be sure of where you're eating. Taste the food properly. If you know that the food is going to have excess salt, then you might as well go for your home cooked meal. Then, for us, we love to snack, and a lot of the snacks that we have on the shelves, they are mostly, they have incorporated refined flour into it. They are full of artificial flavoring. They have added sweeteners to it. So go for healthier snacks. We have a lot of local snacks in our country, the ones that are not processed. There are things like your local chips, your millet chips. Those ones are better to take than to go for biscuits that have been made from refined flour. So when you make all these changes in your diet, it will go a long way in reducing your chances of developing cardiovascular disease. So to just wrap up on everything we have discussed today, we first talked about cardiovascular disease becoming one of the leading causes of death in globally. So that means that it's something that you have to put into consideration as you get older. Then secondly, your diet. Your diet plays a major role in whether you're going to increase your chances of developing cardiovascular diseases. Now, cardiovascular disease, as we discussed earlier, can be from, you can get it if it's hereditary, or if you have a lifestyle that increases your chances of it. So things like smoking, if you do such, you have to abstain from it. Excessive consumption of alcohol, then refined foods. Try as much as possible to eat at home, and not just eat at home. Make sure that the food you eat is well balanced. It has your whole grains in it, is rich in your vegetables. And of course, when we talk about vegetables, how do you prepare your vegetables? Your vegetables should not be prepared under excessive heat. You should prepare them lightly so that they can still retain all the beneficial nutrients and vitamins in it. And then also, there's something we're going to discuss later in our episode, which is the DASH diet. This is the diet that actually it's been formulated to ensure that it reduces your chances of developing hypertension. And so on that note, we come to the end of today's episode. I believe that everything we shared today was of immense benefit to you. As we always say, please subscribe to our channel if you are new on this episode. Then make sure you drop a comment on any other topic you would love us to discuss. Like and share with your friends and family. And until I see you next time, have a wonderful day.
Well, among healthcare professionals, it is generally accepted that diet and nutrition plays an important role in the management of diabetes, and it is necessary to supplement them with vitamins and mineral salts because they play a crucial role in managing these cases. Patients often struggle to maintain an adequate diet, especially when it comes to portion controls, weight loss programs, and stressful lifestyles. And additionally, these vitamins and mineral salts provide specific benefits to these patients. Alphabetic Plus is a supplement designed specifically for pre-diabetics and diabetics because it contains alpha-lipoic acid, which is a powerful antioxidant, and also contains 24 other essential minerals and vitamins. Research has shown that alpha-lipoic acid is the universal antioxidant, acting on both water and fat medium. It also helps to metabolize the breakdown of carbohydrates and acts on oxidizing species and free radicals. Additionally, it can recycle other antioxidants such as glutathione, coenzyme Q10, vitamin C, and vitamin E. It is not like every other multivitamin as it is uniquely designed for pre-diabetics and diabetics. It only contains vitamins and minerals needed by the patient's category at specific strength and proportion. Additionally, it does not contain copper or iron compounds, which pre-diabetics and diabetics should not take. It also benefits in preventing polyneuropathy. Things like numbness, burning sensation, paresthesia, tingling sensation, all these conditions that are associated with diabetes and end organ damage. So as I've stated before, alpha-lipoic acid is an antioxidant that works against free radicals and reactive oxygen species. It also serves as a universal antioxidant, helping with carbohydrate metabolism and improving glucose uptake by enhancing insulin sensitivity. Additionally, it recycles antioxidants such as vitamin C, vitamin E, coenzyme Q10, and glutathione, which ensures proper cell function. So Alphabetic Plus does not contain iron and copper, as research has shown that iron and copper are generally in high concentrations in diabetic patients as well as pre-diabetic patients, and they are major sources for radicals generation. Hence, one will be worsening the problem by this additional supplementation. Yes, Alphabetic Plus has cardioprotective benefits because it consists of two crucial ingredients, taurine and lycopene, shown by research to have cardioprotective benefits. Taurine, for instance, exerts anti-inflammatory benefits that improves diabetes and has shown cardioprotective benefits by acting on the renin-angiotensin system, while lycopene exerts cardioprotective function by lowering low-density lipoproteins associated inflammation as well as modulating high-density lipoprotein functionality towards anti-atherogenic effects. The anti-atherogenic effect is the process of forming plaques in the intimal layers of the arteries. It has anti-inflammatory and antiplatelet effects like blood clotting and impairs cholesterol synthesis. So with Alphabetic Plus, it has a lot of benefits that you should consider, especially as a pre-diabetic or a diabetic patient. And I hope that all these light that I've shared on all these benefits will inform your decision appropriately and will let you know that Alphabetic Plus is the best multivitamin to get out there.